let's move over and talk a little bit about time signatures, our time signatures, and what they mean. We'll take a look at the one that's already printed here. We see 4 time, and we're going to divide this up because each of these numbers means something different. So whatever number you have on top tells us one thing, and whatever number we have on the bottom tells us another. So let's diagnose this, and we'll start with this top number right here. This top number tells us how many beats there are per measure. So beats per measure, right? So how many beats are there per measure? Well, there's 4 beats because that's what the top number is. This bottom number tells us what note gets the beat. So what type of note gets that beat? And in our examples here, we'll see what that means. In this case, it tells us the 4 here tells us that it's the quarter note that gets the beat. Well, how do you know that that means quarter note? What I like to do is let's remove this top 4 here, pretend that's not there, and replace it almost like a fraction, and replace that 4 with 1. So the numerator is 1, and then our bottom number as written there is 4. And what's another way of saying 1/4? 1/4. So that means 1/4, or the quarter note, gets the beat here. We've learned about a number of different types of notes. We've learned about half notes and whole notes, eighth notes now. So let's say we had, I don't know, our time signature is 3/2 time, 3/2. This top number tells us how many beats per measure there are. So there are 3 beats per measure in this particular time signature. And let's do that same exercise. Let's get rid of the 3, replace that as a numerator with a 1 and 2. What's another way to say 1/2? 1/2, or half note. So this tells us that the half note gets the beat. So in 3/2 time, it means that there are 3 half notes per measure. It's another way of looking at it. Just like 4/4 time tells us that there are 4 quarter notes per measure. And time signatures can get pretty funky. We're going to stick with anything that has a 4 in the denominator for now. And as we develop our skills, we'll start looking at more complex time signatures. Now, Sibelius does a really good job with helping us with this, because if I were to put 4 quarter notes in a bar with 4/4 time chosen, it's automatically going to advance us to the next measure, because it knows that we can only have 4 quarter notes per bar, and then we start over again. Let's say, though, we change our time signature, and we're going to go up here to the time signature tool, and we're going to choose 3/4 time. Now, I'm going to try to put quarter notes in this bar. Guess what's going to happen? It's only going to give me room for 3, boom, and then automatically advance to the next one. Let's change this one to 2/4 time. 2/4 means 2 quarter notes per bar. And so let's try that. Quarter note, advances to the next measure. Let's do something weird here. Let's, I don't know, let's do like 8/4. 8/4. Guess how many quarter notes it's going to let me do? It's going to let me do 8, and then it's going to try to build us another measure after that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that's it. If we try to put another quarter note in here, it's going to add automatically the next measure for us. So that's basically how time signatures work. And just as we have done our counting exercises, if I were to count a 4/4 bar, which is, we've only really counted in 4/4 so far, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, just like anything, I would start again with 1, 2, but now there's only 3 beats to the measure. So when I get to 3 in a 3/4 bar, I have to start over again, go to the next bar. With a 2/4 bar, I'm going to count to 2, and I have to start over again. With my 8/4 bar, I'm going to count all the way to 8 before I start my next bar. So for your assignments this week, we're only going to give you 4/4, 3/4, and 2/4 bars. We're going to get you started with them easier exercises and make them increasingly harder over the next 2 days. Just lots of opportunities to count both rests, eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, dotted half rest, all the rests, and in these 3 different time signatures, 4/4, 3/4, and 2/4. Do the work, do all the work. It may seem tedious, especially if you understand it right away. Get the practice, really have a deep understanding of this, and then we'll be able to move on. I'm really excited. We're after this lesson, we get to start advancing a little bit into scales, and lesson 15 is going to get into building major and minor scales and how that works. And there's some formulas involved with it that'll help you along the way. All right, we'll see you next time. Do all the work. Good job, everybody.